Okay guys, so we're going to review how to add mixed numbers with unlike denominators. So the problem that we have here is 2 and 5/8 plus 1 and 4/6. So they have unlike denominators, and I need to find a way to make them still with equivalent fractions, but equivalent fractions that have the same denominator so I can add them. Okay? So the first thing that I need to do is I need to determine which which denominator I need to use. Okay, and so the first thing that I'm going to do is find that denominator. One of the ways that I can do that is I can list my multiples of my denominator. So I can list multiples of 6 and 8, and so I can do that way. 6 multiple times 2 times 3 times 4 times 5, 8 times 2 times 3. Oh, I don't even need to go any farther, do I? Because I see one that they both have in common. And that's the first one that I came to, so I'm going to go ahead and use that. Okay, because that's the lowest one, which usually when I choose the lowest one, it means less simplifying that I have to do later. Okay, so let's go ahead and I'm going to rewrite this problem vertically so I have some more room. So here I have my 2 and 5/8. And then over here, then underneath of that, I've got my 1 and 4/6. Alright, so let's go ahead and take that and write down to my new denominator. I'm going to make equivalent fractions with the denominator of 24. So when I have 5/8 and I need to choose an equivalent fraction for 5/8 that has a denominator of 24, I remember I need to do the same to the bottom and the top to find an equivalent fraction. So to get from 8 to 24, I know that I have to multiply by 3. So when I multiply by 3 here, I need to do the same to the bottom and the top. So that means my new numerator is 15. My equivalent numerator is 15. Okay, so remember 5/8 and 15/24, they're the same fraction, just different number. They have the same value. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and scoot my whole number on over. So you do the same thing in your problem. And now you need to find an equivalent fraction for the other one. So 4/6, I need to turn that into a fraction that has a denominator of 24. So I know 6 times 4 is 24, so I'm doing the same to the bottom and the top to get a fraction with the same value. So that's 16/24. So now go ahead and scoot that whole number on over so that I have 1 and 16/24. So now, it's almost kind of like I'm forgetting everything that happened right here. And I need to show now 2 and 15/24 and 1 and 16/24. So I'm going to add those two together. And when I do that, I'm going to add my whole numbers. 2 plus 1 is 3. And then when I add my two fractions together, 15/24 plus 16/24. So let me go ahead and I'm going to write that here real fast. 15/24 plus 16/24. 15/24 plus 16/24, I know that I'm going to get 31/24. So that means it's 3 and 31/24. But, like we talked about, oops, I went off the video, I'm sorry. But we talked about earlier this year that when we have a fraction that looks like this, we call that an improper fraction. And we need to show that as a mixed number. Okay, because I can't leave this as an improper fraction. I have to do some simplifying to turn it into an improper fraction. So let me, since I'm running out of room on my paper on this side, or at least toward the bottom, let me scoot this over here. So let's continue with 3 and 31/24. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to think about 31/24. So if you have an improper fraction right here, we need to work on changing that. 31/24 is, as a mixed number, I need to figure that out. And that means that I need to think about this as 31 divided by 24. So that means that's 1 time. I'm going to subtract 24 So I need to do a little borrowing here. Make sure that you're regrouping correctly here. We're borrowing. So 11 minus 4 is going to be 7. 2 minus 2 is 0. Okay, and we know that this means the same as 1 and 7/24. Okay, but remember, this was only 31/24 that I changed to a mixed number here. I still need to pay attention to this 3. So if you had a whole number in front of your fraction, add it to it. So now I have 3 plus 1 is 4 and 7/24. Okay? So again, to review, step 1, find your common denominator. Okay? Step 2, over here, the next thing you want to do is find equivalent fractions for the fractions in your problem. Find 2 equivalent fractions so that way you can add them together. So I have 24 and 24. That means I can add them together because they still have the same value as their original fraction, but now I can add them because they have the same denominator. So now I have 3, and when I added my fractions together, I got 31/24. We recognize that this is an improper fraction, so it's not okay for a final answer. So, zooming on over here, I needed to find 31/24 as a mixed number. I did that by dividing my numerator divided by my denominator, and then solve 1 and 7/24. Remember the remainder. This is my remainder out of my whole. Okay, that's what makes my fraction. 7 out of 24. Okay, and so one of the other ways that I can think about this is, the other way you can think about a improper fraction, 31/24. I know if I take away 24/24, that's one whole. Okay, and then to get to 31 after I've taken away 24/24 is 7, because 24 plus 7 is 31. Okay, so there's my 1 and 7/24. Alright, so again, if you just need to follow the steps that we have here in this video to solve and use that in your own problem, you can pause the video at any time so that you can do the step and the video doesn't run away from you and go too far. Okay? So hopefully the video will help. Hopefully what we have written down on paper will help as well. Alright? And if you have problems, please come ask in the morning.